Good evening and welcome to Story Time with Uncle Sampire. Tonight we have a nuanced tale about using tyranny as a tool of statecraft. I call it tactics of tyranny.
Once upon a time, rulers and their legions used tyranny as a tool to control the peasants, and as governments evolved, the art of tyranny adapted accordingly. Tyrannical governments are those characterized by oppressive and arbitrary exercise of power, often disregarding the rights and freedoms of their citizens. These regimes typically concentrate power in the hands of a few government and civilian groups. These groups tightly control broadcast news, newspapers, magazines, radio, film, literature, and other forms of media. All media outlets are owned and operated by the elites, ensuring that they adhere to specific ideology to promote government propaganda. Editors and journalists are required to follow strict guidelines imposed by government censors. Censorship under the regime is pervasive and secretly enforced, stifling freedom of speech, thought, and expression. It creates an atmosphere of fear and self-censorship, where individuals are afraid to voice their opinions or express dissenting views for fear of reprisal. This suppression of alternative viewpoints plays a significant role in maintaining the authoritarian rule of the government. Use of schools and universities as centers for ideological indoctrination, to propagate their own narratives, control the thoughts and beliefs of citizens, and maintain their grip on power. Teaching students the ideological version of history and suppressing dissenting opinions. Control the educational curriculum, ensuring that their ideological beliefs serve their political agenda. This may involve the suppression of certain topics, events, or perspectives that contradict the official narrative. Maintain a vast network of informants and surveillance to monitor the population for dissenting opinions or anti-government activities. Secret police infiltrate organizations, tap phones, intercept mail, and conducted arbitrary arrests to suppress dissent and maintain control. Empower certain groups to use violence as a means to create social unrest or to suppress dissent. By supporting violent groups, tyrannical governments can sow division and chaos within society, making it easier to maintain control over the population. Distracting from underlying grievances or to prevent unity among opposition movements. Suppression of peaceful protests by deploying security forces to forcefully disperse peaceful demonstrations. Enact laws or emergency decrees to restrict the right to assemble peacefully. Employ covert tactics to disrupt peaceful protests, such as infiltrating demonstrations with provocateurs or inciting violence to discredit the movement. Manipulating elections to maintain a grip on power. Election manipulation often involves the suppression of political opposition, censorship of the media, and intimidation of voters. These actions violate the human rights of citizens and undermine the principles of freedom of expression, association, and assembly. Denies citizens their basic political rights, including the right to choose their leaders and representatives. When elections are rigged or manipulated, the voices of the people are silenced, and their will is disregarded, leading to the concentration of power in the hands of a select few. Such governments can lead to widespread human rights abuses, economic stagnation, and social unrest. Efforts to resist or overthrow tyrannical governments have often been met with repression, but history also shows that people have the capacity to organize and challenge oppressive regimes through various means, including peaceful protests, civil disobedience, and international pressure. The end.
I hope you found this story entertaining and informative. In closing, I will end this tale with a quote from an American economist and statistician, Milton Friedman. "Governments never learn, only people learn."